Hey guys, good evening. It's Brett with the Mr. Top Step Trading Team. It's July 25th, Tuesday. It's about 7:45. It's a little less than 15 minutes before we wrap up the post uh, post market trading session here. We had Microsoft and Google both report, but I actually want to touch on two separate trades today on Nvidia and the Qs. I have the little picture-in-picture down here. I don't know how that will turn out, but we'll try to make it so that it works for everybody. I'm going to start actually, I have it on the Qs right now, but I'm going to start with Nvidia. That one was so much more clear cut for me. I want to do a little education piece here to try to help help some other traders see if they can hit little trades like this. They're so easy to make, and the risk reward on them is too attractive to leave alone. So it's if we hop over here really quick to the opening print, I just want to go to today's setup and kind of cover what we're talking about. So today's setup was the Fed's two-day meeting begins, Nvidia trades sets up. So go down here to the technical section, go over some of the indices and futures first. And Nvidia was the only one. This was our only trade today on the individual stock front. I'll go over the Qs in a minute, which is this setup right here. You can kind of get a pretty good idea of where our head was at. But this was such a simple setup. We did not need to write a novel down here. If Nvidia goes daily up over 451, bulls can consider short-term long with 460 and 465 as their first upside objectives, and 439 is the initial stop loss. So a little wide. It's about a $10 stop and a $10 first reward. So 11RR is the first part of the setup. Obviously, I'm someone who scales out of my positions, as anyone who has followed the opening print for even a small amount of time, you can tell. Small trim, second trim, down to a third here. Sorry, I didn't mean to start throwing stuff at you, but um, all this is to say I don't just go for 1-1 RRs. This just happens to be the first target is a 1-1 and is reasonable at that. So, um, but shoot to the daily really quick. A lot of people will be quick to point out Nvidia is kind of stuck in no man's land here between the 10-day and the 21-day. That is true. I do prefer that 10-day to hold, but it's a short-term moving average, so sometimes we lose that one. I was focused more here on this gap fill and a retest of this breakout area, and it did not fill it completely. If you zoom in with your magnifying glass, you can see there's a tiny little gap, but I'm not one to split hairs like that. To me, that's filled enough for this setup, especially when it gave us nearly an inside doji day, but nonetheless, a nice little clean doji. We're not talking about some run-of-the-mill stock, okay, guys. This is the best stock, the premier mega cap stock of the year. So, sorry to say, but benefit of the doubt lays with Nvidia on the long side when in doubt. So in this case, we were looking for, it says in the setup, looking for it to go daily up. It was trading around 449, 450-ish in the pre-market. I think it opened 449.41, so it's right in that zone. Um, sorry, I was not planning on jumping to this window, but I'll try to zoom this out a little bit and keep it clean. You can see this 451 in this opening 5 minutes. It did not give you much time to screw around. It pretty much went right up and over. If we get in on the 1 minute, you can see it kind of, if you were watching this live, it did waver around this mark. That second minute, it opened to close to 451 half, dipped back down, and it was just gone. It wanted to run, and it showed its colors here. So this was such an easy, perfect trade. If traders really wanted to do it, and this is really quick and fickle, I don't necessarily love this, but 451-ish is your trigger. You could have risked about $2 and used this opening level. I would have been willing to risk down into the 440s just just to give the stock some time to work. I Luckily we didn't really have to mess around with it. It got right up into the 460 very quick. In that opening half hour, it got to 461. That gave you That gave you about $9. All the way at the high, it gave you 9.95, and we actually went up higher than that and gave you 10.75 a share. Um, and so when you get this quick rip, this would be a scenario where maybe you could justify moving up that stop loss rather quickly because you got $4 to $5 in your pocket very fast. And then once we got up into this $10 range, that was our first target. If we jump over here, short term, consider short term long with 460 and 465 as the first upside objectives. That's the halfway back. The 460 is 50% retrace, 460, 64 technically. Um, that's the halfway back of this entire decline. So once we made that quick move up to that sorry, I keep jumping around so much. Once we got into that 460, that was the perfect time to take off a half, take off a third, whatever your method is. Take it all off if that's how you want to manage the trade. But that's a good time where you can move to a break-even stop. Now it lets you roll with 2/3 of the position, half the position, whatever you want, against a break-even stop, essentially risk-free. Today's a little different with Microsoft and Alphabet reporting after the close, Snap reporting. So the Qs, could have been a little more active after hours, especially if Alphabet and Microsoft are moving in tandem. They're not. But anyway, I just wanted to go over this. This is trading 460 and a half in the post market. If you wanted to, you could have just called it a cash flow trade, took $10 out of it ish, $9, and put that money in your pocket on 100 shares. And I just put this over here for illustrative purposes. You're long at 451 ish. You're long out at 460. That's $9. $9 a share on 100 shares. You do the math. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. $900. Sorry, I'm not trying to rattle through it, but I don't want to beat it to death and bore anyone. I want also because I want to do the Qs, which was a setup just before this one, just before Nvidia. Watching for the daily up over 377.60. Kind of a similar deal here to Nvidia. It's floating between the 10-day and 21-day. If we had a weaker pre-market situation, say instead of because this one opening right near that high, 377.58 is the high. The open was 377, call it. So opened within like 60 cents of that high. And if this was like within 50, 60 cents of the low, I would have just been looking for a retest of this breakout area in the 21-day. There's no reason to overcomplicate it. If we were on the other end of this spectrum, I would have been looking for a deeper dip. But because we opened right here, the Qs have been by far the leader. We maybe could have had some better pre-earnings action, like with Microsoft and Google on tap. Definitely thought maybe we could push a little harder, but no, this was a fine setup. This was 377.58. Sorry, sometimes that 200-day can scrunch things up a little bit on these charts, but this is a little bit better view. You had a nice little tight close here on Monday, open just below it, and I'll go into the 5-minute chart so we can see kind of the action, which was wavered around a little bit. This initial pop gave a little chance to trim some off. Ideally, I was looking for something in like the 381 range. I have an upside level marked here at 380. That was our first target in the chat room, which we don't always update the opening print trades in there. I try to do my best to do it, but sometimes like I had COVID last week, so I was not in the room often and could not update a lot of those. So this is not a hand-holding type of service. We come up with the setups and the idea generation and kind of let you guys manage it from here. Some people like upside level 380 and then 381. Some people might get to 380, which was a push all the way in the late afternoon, like 2:30. It was 2:40. It looks like it finally pushed through it. Oh no, it was 2:30. Well, whatever. Push up. Some people will be out the full trade right there, and that's fine. I'm more of a take a third, take a half, whatever. You can see it closed a little weaker, and now it is lower off that Microsoft print. Microsoft's down like 4%-ish. So that was kind of a risk. I did note in that room I did not want to carry a huge Q position into the earnings. Earnings to me are dice rolls. I don't like to trade them. I don't like to carry big positions that are related to them into it. So If Nvidia was reporting, I wouldn't carry a huge AMD position into it, for instance. So, but anyway, this right here, that's $2.44. You can, use your imagination, get that extra 6 cents if you want the 250 a share. Gave you all the way up to almost $3, but either way, even where this is trading, you're still up 44 cents. So nothing crazy, but I don't know. If you got 250 a share on that, quick easy math, $250 profit. That's how you have $1,000 a day between two stocks. Again, I did not exit my whole position at 380. Won't pretend I did. Um, but I just want to highlight a couple of those setups. It's such an easy trade. Both of those scenarios, you're looking at the best in breed indice, the best in breed individual stock this year. Nice tight doji closes, a daily up rotation over that high, and now you can still hold some against a break-even stop, or you can just trade these for cash flow. So if this helps, I hope it helps. If it doesn't, it's not a perfect system. You don't do this every day. You don't just buy a daily up rotation. But in this scenario, back testing here, it made too much sense to be considering a long position off this open, especially with that how tight it opened on it. You could I was looking at the low, today's low, yesterday's low as the initial stop, but you could have definitely used one just below the open and kept it really tight, and the RR on that would be explosive, like 5 or 6 to 1 easily. So consider that for your trading arsenal if you guys are looking for some different opportunities in the market, some intraday opportunities that can just help inch up the account little by little. Thank you for watching.